Wynn Resorts, which holds the trademark for the Arabian Strip, now has permission to build the first casino in the region, and it has received a license to operate a, quote, gaming facility in the United Arab Emirates, according to a report in Semaphore Golf, which just launched. And I'm now following, I think, are you subscribed as well, Dr. Hannah?
No, should I?
I think,
Should I
yeah,
be?
I like them before. I know some of their founders, so what they do is good here. Let's see if it takes in the region, but always good to have new sort of perspectives on everything. The announcement follows 2 years of activity that has included the establishment of a national gaming authority, the arrival of U.S. casino execs from Wynn and others, and progress on Wynn's $2.25 billion resort in Ras Al Khaimah. Still, according to the report, quote, "It's all been a bit hush-hush. There is no formal gambling law in the UAE, and officials have yet to utter the word casino in public, referring instead to the preferred term, which is gaming."
So, yeah, I mean, again, this is in the UAE, not in Saudi, but it's interesting. And, there are clearly some possibly new regulations here. The economic upside is significant, apparently, according to some of our Gulf real estate services from CBRE estimates the UAE's casino market at $8.5 billion, matching the size of the Vegas Strip and about a quarter of Macau's.
That is an interesting number. I wonder how they got to that. I mean, it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine it being equal to Vegas, right? I mean, I don't know. That seems like a little bit of an inflation, maybe, but who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, who knows? I don't know. It obviously would capture. So you have Macau and you have Vegas, and they're very far away from each other, and this one's kind of in the middle. So maybe this is a new market, and it's trying to capture like maybe an African market as well as the rest of the Middle East. I don't know. I've never actually been to Vegas, so I don't know. I've never been to Macau either.
I have been to both. Macau is maybe the lowest ranking on all of the gambling destinations. I've played a lot of poker and internet poker, especially. I've been to Vegas a few times. It's not like my favorite place. It's very like fake, I don't know how to describe it, but
I think that's the right word.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I think this is interesting because, I mean, like, look, they don't want the gamblers of the region to be going elsewhere and gambling. It's lost potential revenue. This has been in the works for like 2 to 3 years at least. I remember seeing reports that this was rumored and under discussion for a long time. So,
I mean, it's the same as alcohol, right? Like if you're going to have it catering to, and I think that the point is it's technically not supposed to be gamblers of the region, right? It's supposed to be gamblers who are in the region. And that's the same with alcohol. And I guess it's a tricky one because a lot of people who are like tourists and especially like inter-Gulf tourists or inter-Middle East, North Africa tourists would like to go places where they don't feel like there's going to be accidental gambling and alcohol happening. I just happened to be watching a comedy last night. It's an old play called Bye Bye London. And I was watching it, and that's what was happening. There was like some accidental consumption of alcohol, but not accidental gambling, like definitely deliberate gambling. But the thing I think is this can be appealing to people who are living in the region, and probably something that is a deterrent for people who would rather not. But the thing with the Emirates is you can have stuff that is okay in certain Emirates and not okay in others. And that makes it easier to travel between them for people who are looking for a more wholesome family atmosphere.
Yeah. Casinos are not like my favorite place. Like I like to play poker, but they're always like, I don't know. There's something about them.
A little bit seedy.
A little bit seedy. But I think what you're seeing here in Dubai is that they're trying to kind of build while the market is super hot. I mean, right now, you have an influx of millionaires going into Dubai. So you're seeing these sort of ultra luxury developments for real estate kind of popping up everywhere. Again, we will be having our friend and guest contributor onto the 2030, Faisal Durrani, to discuss this. We want him to focus more on the Saudi market, but I mean, Dubai is kind of hard to ignore. And this is very Dubai, right? To kind of be the first for something like this on the edge. And It will be interesting to see
Yeah,
the renderings look sweet. We will include that in our kind of in the YouTube segment of this discussion. I thought this was interesting. This is from
it's really interesting.
yeah, this is from Bloomberg. An influx of millionaires since 2020 has transformed Dubai into one of the world's hottest markets for prime real estate. But despite a steep increase in prices, 17.4% increase last year, it's a lot. The Emirate offers more value, money for the money than most global cities. The market is still relatively competitively priced by global standards at $850 per square foot. Is that competitive? That's pretty high, and offers a comparatively low cost of living, a relatively easy visa process for sure, and a warmer climate in which people are attracted, and as well as domestic buyers. It's interesting what is happening in Dubai. It's just like a grow situation. So the timing for the Wynn coming in now could be good. I mean, obviously construction has begun, so I don't know if you'll see me in
Um,
there,
s-
but it's pretty cool.
so it's not in Dubai; it's in Ras Al Khaimah, which is another emirate, right? Because there's seven of
Sure.
them, and it's about an hour or 45 minutes away, but still pretty local, and yeah, obviously catering to the Dubai market, I'm sure. But I was also looking at kind of what's happening with where people are moving at the moment, and there was a New World Wealth report that basically was saying the net number of millionaires expected to arrive or leave in 2024, and basically people are moving to the UAE, the US, Singapore, Canada, and Australia, and leaving China, the UK, India, South Korea, and Russia in those orders, kind of. So UAE is top destination for
I
millionaires.
anecdotally, the influx of Russians into Dubai is something to behold, like something to see. It's a lot, obviously, with the war in Ukraine, and yeah. But you mentioned that they're on the lower end, right? You had China, and where else?
So the majority of people are leaving China, the UK. Well, UK's had some, basically they've changed a couple of laws with the new Labour government that are definitely a deterrent for people who previously could only be taxed on income that they bring into the country, but if they had global income that never entered the UK, they wouldn't get taxed on that. The non-dom kind of arrangement has been or is promised to be scrapped or at least revised significantly. So people are really leaving the UK at the moment. It's this number two place in the world where people are leaving. And then India, South Korea, and Russia.
Okay. South Korea, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're in Saudi Arabia and you're an authority in Saudi Arabia, you're taking a look at this. You're letting the UAE kind of beta test some of this stuff. I mean, I don't know if this is at all on the horizon for Saudi Arabia, but I mean, it's kind of interesting to see what happens with this, and then the outcome. I mean, if it does really well,
Yeah.
you're going to be looking at this saying, hey, like, we don't want to be missing out on this revenue. Just like tourism really as a whole, you want people to stay if they're there, and then you want people to visit you instead
Mm.
of others. So, but
Definitely.
yeah.
I don't know. I think there's still all these cultural sensitivities around these things that I don't think that it happening in one place where it's been normalized for a very long time means it's going to happen somewhere else right away. But I think that it's definitely a space that is interesting and a very, very interesting development that I didn't actually see coming,
Yeah,
even if apparently you did.
I did. Yeah, I mean, it kind of fits into the vibe, right? I mean, I don't know if I
Yeah,
like
I
have,
guess
have a
so.
crystal ball, but yeah. Anyway, pretty interesting. We'll see how that turns out.